Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Citation Management with Zotero workshop. I am Jamie Niehoff. I am one of the engineering librarians at the Art, Architecture, and Engineering Library, and I am hosting this workshop with one of our colleagues from the Taubman Health Sciences Library, Kathryn VanderBoll. She's going to be talking for about 50 or 55 minutes on Zotero. After the workshop today, we'll be sharing the slides out. So feel free to take notes, but know that the slides will be coming. I will be monitoring the chat. So if you have any immediate questions during the workshop today, feel free to put those in chat and we will let Kathryn look at them. All right, Kathryn, why don't you take it away?
Thank you so much for having me, Jamie, and thanks to all of you for attending today. As Jamie said, my name is Kathryn, and I'm very happy to talk to you about Zotero today. I don't have much time today, so I will move fairly quickly, but I want to reassure you again, you will get these slides, which are going to have screenshots of everything I'm about to demonstrate live. And you'll also have this recording to refer to, and I'm available to answer questions even after today. The slides will include my contact information. So let's jump right in. I apologize for my voice, I have some allergies. So our agenda for today is that we're going to talk about a little bit about what citation management is and how it can be helpful to you. We'll talk specifically about why you might want to choose Zotero. And I'll show you how you can set Zotero up on your computer and then how you can use it. I'll share a little bit at the end about how to get help, and we'll have time for questions at the end, though I do encourage you to put your questions into the chat at any point. So first of all, let's talk about what is citation management. So while you're doing some research, do you find that your web browser often looks like this with a bunch of tabs open and you're afraid to close things just in case you might lose some content? Have you downloaded lots of articles onto your computer and they end up looking like this with lots of nonsensical file names and you have to open everything up to make sure that you're finding what you need? Do you end up searching your email to find articles that your colleagues have sent to you and you sort of struggle with that? Not the best organization, maybe. And do you struggle with citing or find that you spend a lot of time crafting citations by hand in any citation style? If you answered yes to any of those questions, I recommend that you start using a citation manager. So citation management software can help you keep track of sources that you're using for your research. It can help you organize those sources that you found with folders or tags. You can share those sources with collaborators, and with just a couple of clicks, you can automatically create a draft bibliography or in-text citations or footnotes in a citation style of your choice. This can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you and save you a lot of time, but I do want to emphasize that this is a draft bibliography that you still will need to proofread, before submitting this manuscript to a journal or, turning in an assignment for a course. So there are a number of citation managers out there on the market. A few that you may have heard of include EndNote, RefWorks, Zotero, and Mendeley. Of these lists, Zotero and Mendeley are the free options. Personally, I recommend Zotero, and I do want to say that I have no relationship with the company that produces Zotero. I am simply a user, and I've been using Zotero for about 10 years and teaching it for just as long. And personally, these are the reasons why I recommend it. So Zotero is free to use. What you may need to pay for is for extra full text PDF storage, which is optional. But all of the functionalities of how Zotero works and what it can do for you that I've just described, all of that is free. Personally, I find that it is fairly easy to use compared to some of the other options. I find that it is excellent for collaboration. With your free Zotero account, you can create an unlimited number of groups and share those groups with an unlimited number of people. It's very good at identifying and citing non-traditional sources. And what I mean by this is if you are looking at, government reports or patents that you found on the web, or that you are, citing YouTube videos or, email communications or many other types of sources that aren't your traditional academic journals and books. It is an open source product that is from a nonprofit organization, and it does not have an interest in sharing your data. So I have included a link here of its statement about data privacy. It has an excellent public support website to report problems and get help in a public kind of way where everyone in the community can benefit from it. And it is continuing to improve. Here are some reasons why you might not choose to use Zotero. You do need a computer. This must be a laptop or a desktop where you can download software and add browser extensions for full functionality. You can install Zotero on a Chromebook, which I've linked some instructions to, but it does take some extra steps and some technical know-how in order to do this. There is also a new iOS app, which is super exciting for use on an iPad or a phone, but not all the features are supported on this iOS app. If you are more interested in just citing your sources instead of organizing and sharing them and keeping them for later, you may want to try Zotero Bib, which is a free tool on the web that does not require any software to help you just purely cite. And then there's also personal preference. Some people have been using other citation managers for a long time and prefer to keep using them, in which case, great, whatever works for you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we'll talk a little bit about downloading the software. So here's the first step. You're going to start at zotero.org. I have screenshots for this because I didn't want to try to actually download anything to my computer while I'm live today. So these are the screenshots. You'll start at zotero.org, click on this big red download button, and you're going to download Zotero 6. It will identify whether you're working on a Windows machine or a Mac machine. Go ahead and click that download button. And once you've followed the steps to install that program, you'll get your Zotero program, which will look something like this. You're not done yet, though. The next step is to add the web browser plugin, which is available for Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, and Edge. So whatever you choose to do your searching for articles or finding research on, you can install that for your web browser. And you will see a little icon appear in the top right-hand corner of your web browser that will change shape in different ways that we'll talk about. But whatever it is, if you hover over it, it says Save to Zotero, and you know you have the right thing. Step 3 is you'll register for a free Zotero account. So you'll choose a username and put in an email and a password. You'll get an email sent to you that you'll check in order to activate that account. Once you check your email and click on that link, it will confirm that you have created this account, give you a little success message. And you're still not done. Step 4 is to connect that new account with the program that you just downloaded. So here's what you'll do with that. If you open up your Zotero program, on a Windows, you'll click Edit and then Preferences. If you're on a Mac, you'll click Zotero Preferences. Again, these screenshots will be available for your use after the session. Don't feel like you need to write all of this down. And once you've opened up that preferences box, this is where you'll go to the sync tab and you'll put in your username and your password. Click OK. Oh, put in your username and password, click that setup syncing, and then click OK. And now, finally, you are all set up. So that's a little bit of a lengthy setup process, but once you have that going, you shouldn't have to do that again unless you are using a different computer. So next we'll talk about how to use Zotero. So we'll talk about adding sources to your Zotero library, organizing your sources, sharing with collaborators, citing and annotating PDFs. We'll see if I can get through this in the time that we have allotted. If not, you'll have screenshots in these slides to refer to. So I'm going to go live here, and we'll talk about adding sources to your Zotero program. So I have my brand new Zotero account right up here. It's totally clean. This is what you'll see once you have initially downloaded your Zotero account and hooked up your online account to it. So I'm going to go find some articles. However, I typically search. So I may search in a database, I may search in Google Scholar, whatever you like to do. For today, let's jump into IEEE and let's do, this is a super basic search. This is not a workshop on searching, so don't do this. Attend a workshop on searching with one of your wonderful engineering librarians. I recommend them. So I'm going to do just a super quick basic search here. And I'm going to scroll through and find something that looks interesting to me. Here's a journal article. I can open this one up. And I'm going to wait for this page to load. And as I do that, I'm going to take a look at my little Zotero connector icon right here. You'll see it says Save to Zotero, and it looks like a little white square with some lines on it. This is Zotero recognizing that this is a journal article. So I'll go ahead and click on that, and it will tell me that it's saving to my library. And now if I open up my Zotero account, there's something in it now. Here in the center column, we have our title of our work. We have our creators. This is our author. We have our year of publication. And over here on the right-hand side of the page, we have more detail about this resource. So we have all of the authors listed. We have our abstract included here, the journal that published it, the volume, the issues, the pages, the date, all of that information that we'll need later to create a citation for this. Something else to note is if you look beside the title here, there is a little arrow that is facing forward. If I click on that little arrow in that center column, I'll see any attachments that went along with this one-click save. So here, if I click on this one, it will take me back to the web page. It's got a little picture of a camera. So it's a little picture of the web page that I was just at. But what is probably more useful to you is it includes the PDF attachment of this article. So if I double click on this, I have the full text of this article attached, and I can go ahead and read it within Zotero. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not going to do much more saving. Let's do one more example, because let's say that you're doing some searching in a database like Engineering Index or Compendex. Let's open this one up. Oh, I apologize for my dogs in the background there, if you hear that. So I'll do a similar, very quick search. So let's say that I find this article right here. I'll open that up. And I go ahead, I see Zotero recognizes this is a journal article. I can click on this, and I will notice once I open up my Zotero that there's no little arrow there. It did not capture the PDF. It did capture all of the citation information that I need, but it did not, in fact, capture the PDF. And the reason for this is that unlike in IEEE, in Engineering Village, we actually have to link out to get to the full text of this article. And so what I can do instead of saving it directly from here is I can go ahead and go to a page that has the like a little download PDF icon. And if I save from here, Zotero will attach the full text PDF from this page right there. Another option I can do is I can download the PDF and then just like drag and drop it into this one that I already saved, and then it would do the attachment. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I don't need it anymore. So I will right click on a Windows machine, on a Mac. It's whatever the equivalent is of right click that I always forget. And then I will choose to move item to trash, and it will say, are you sure? And I'll go yes. So that is how you can delete an item from your Zotero library. I'm going to go back to my slides. Oops, not those slides. Is it these slides? There we go. And just in the interest of time, instead of opening up all of these different types of sources, I just want to quickly show you that if you want to save other types of sources to Zotero, you can, and Zotero will correctly recognize those sources. So in this case, I've got a Wall Street Journal article. So this is a news article. If I look at my little Zotero icon, it's like a sideways rectangle. It's supposed to look like a newspaper, I think. So if you click on that, it will save that item as a newspaper article and know how to cite it correctly. If I find a website, I can go ahead and save just web pages. If I find a book, you'll see you've got a little blue icon that kind of looks like a little bound book. And if I click on that, it will save this item as a book. I can even save YouTube videos, and that's what that icon will look like. Just a tip is to make sure that your page has fully loaded before clicking on the Zotero, like the Save to Zotero connector button. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of incomplete records because Zotero didn't have the full information because your page was not yet loaded. Something else you might want to do if you have downloaded a bunch of PDFs already to your computer, you don't have to go back and find them one by one online. You can actually drag and drop the PDFs, and I'll go live for this one as well. You can drag and drop your PDFs into your Zotero program. So let's put these side by side here. So I've opened up like a file explorer and I've got these PDFs. I can simply just go ahead and I don't want to have, yeah. I'll just select all of them and then go ahead and copy them here into my Zotero program. And you'll see it's running a little thing that it's calling Zotero PDF metadata retrieval. So it is looking for the citation information that it needs to find all of, to be able to cite this later. So it's looking for the title, it's looking for the authors, the journal, etc. And in this case, it was able to find almost all of them. It looks like there's just one issue where it had no matching references found. So instead of going back and saving one by one, I've got all of these references in here now. This case, this may be common if you have, for example, this is a PDF that maybe someone scanned for you, or it's somewhere that you found in the corners of the internet that maybe wasn't connected to a traditional database, in that case, Zotero might not be able to figure out what it is. But if you downloaded it from a database or somewhere from Google Scholar or a journal article webpage in the past, chances are Zotero will be able to find it. In this case, I would have to open up this article, figure out what it is, find it online, and then do that one-click save to Zotero. All right, if you have any questions about that process, feel free to go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'm going to jump ahead in the interest of time and talk about organizing your Zotero library. So I've got lots of different things, and I think I closed to Zotero by accident. Let's open that up again. There are two different ways that you can organize your Zotero program. The first one is by creating folders. So to do that, I'm going to look in the top left-hand corner of my Zotero program, and I'll see an icon that looks like a little yellow folder with a green dot beside it. If you hover over it, it says New Collection. If you click on that, you can go ahead and, make a topic, whatever it is. Background articles, maybe, for example. Click enter, and then you'll see this folder will now appear in your left-hand menu beneath your My Library folder. There's nothing in it because we just made it, but I can move any of these articles into that folder just by simply dragging and dropping them into that folder right there. If I click on the background articles folder, I now see those 3 items that I just added now exist in this folder. You'll also notice, though, that they did not get removed from this My Library folder. This is a parent folder that contains everything that you've saved to your Zotero library. So you'll find articles that you've moved to a folder in the background articles right here. If you want to see the articles that don't exist in a folder, you can click on the unfiled items right here. These are the ones that currently do not belong in a folder. You can also make subfolders if you choose to do so, just by clicking on whatever folder that you've already made and then clicking again on a new folder, and that will create a subfolder. So that is one way to organize your sources. Oh, I just got a question coming in from Jade that I believe I will answer right now because it's about adding sources to your library. So Jade had a question to confirm if you're missing information like a volume number or publisher from an article or book, Zotero cannot search for the article. You have to find it separately on a search engine from mLibrary, Google, or PubMed. Great question. So I do want to clarify, if Zotero has properly created a citation here, like one of these, if you see there is a title, a creator in your central column, and then some information on it over on the right-hand side, you can change any of this information. So maybe it got something wrong. Maybe this is the incorrect date, for example. I can click on that and I can go ahead and make any edits directly to this reference. Even if it misidentified this, maybe this is a conference paper instead of a journal article, I can change that from a drop down of article type and choose like conference paper, and it will reset my citation. So you can go ahead and make any edits as long as there's some basic information here. What I mentioned here is I just dragged and dropped. Let's pull it in again. I just dragged and dropped this PDF that I had previously saved from somewhere, who knows where I got it from, and Zotero was not able to figure out what this even is. And so in that case, I would go open up this and find it online and save it to my Zotero. I hope that answered your question. If not, go ahead and put a clarifying question in the chat. Thanks so much. All right, looks like that was the answer. Great. All right. So I've just shown you how to create folders. Let's go ahead and create some tags, which I find to be one of the most useful ways to use Zotero. So tags, you can set any number of topics, like, maybe how you might use this in your research, like this is a background article, or this is, an article to pull into my discussion section in my paper. Or you can also make notes for yourself in these tags. Personally, my favorite use of tags is keeping track of which articles I've read and which ones I still need to read. So if you click over here on the right-hand side of your page of Zotero, you'll see there's some tabs here, including a tags tab. Currently, this does not have any tags associated with it. So I'm going to create a new tag for this, and I'm going to say I've read this item. I don't need to, read it again all the way through. So I'll just go ahead and enter that. Maybe I will put, some other tags that might be of use to me. And then I can go through, and for other items, let's say I haven't read this one, and maybe write to read or something. I can keep going through my list. I'll just add a couple more. Just randomly through here. All right. So you'll notice any tags that you have created appear on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. So from here, you can just sort directly. Like, I want to see the articles that I still need to read. If I click on that, ta-da, now I am just looking at the articles that have that tag applied to it. So I can very quickly navigate to the ones that I still need to read. I just opened that article up by accident. If I want to stop, sorting just by tag, I just click again on this tag, and now all of my articles will appear back in the center column. Something else that might be interesting for you to do, this is not required, none of this organization stuff is required, but it could be helpful, is you can actually set a color and also set a order for your tags. Right now they're listed in alphabetical order, but maybe this is one that you use very commonly and you've got 25 tags. You don't want to scroll down to the R's for red. You can click here on assign color if you right click over, or Mac equivalent, over your tag of choice and choose assign color. And then you can set from a few different colors. There's a total of 9 that you can choose from. You can set a color and go ahead and click that. And now you'll see that one appears first. And you'll see there's a little green square that appears beside the articles that have that tag. So you can just see at a glance which articles have that tag. There we go. Might be helpful for you, maybe not. All right, in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and move on. So next, I want to talk to you about sharing articles in Zotero with collaborators. Let me open up a new tab here. Am I logged in? I'm not. Give me one moment. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to zotero.org and you're going to go ahead and log in. This is something that you do on the website instead of within the Zotero program. There's not many things that you'll do, but creating a group and inviting people to a group is one of those things. So I need to put in my username and password here. And I'm going to go ahead and click here on the Groups tab once I'm signed in. And I'm going to create a new group. So I'm going to choose a name for my group. Let's just go with something like example group. And I have a couple of options for public versus private. So you can create public groups where anyone could search for this group and join it and get access to the resources in it. You also can create private groups, which is probably what you'll want to do. So in this case, you'll click choose private membership, and you'll go ahead and create a group. You have some settings here, like do you want any group members to be able to add items to your library, or maybe you're sharing with a bunch of your students and you want them just to be able to read it but not add or delete anything. You could change those settings here. And you can invite people by going to member settings. Currently, I am the only member of this group. So in order to invite people, I can click here on send more invitations. And then I'll go ahead and put an email address of a person or multiple people who I want to invite to this group. These people will have to have a Zotero account that is associated with this email address in order to join the group. So I can go ahead and click invite members, and they will get a message where they can click on a link to confirm that they want to join the group. And then they will be able to see the content that you have shared there. So if I go back to my Zotero library, I can actually add content for my group. And to do that, I'm going to tell Zotero that I want it to sync up with my online account. Zotero does this automatically frequently, but because this is a brand new change that I just made, I want to force it to sync right now. So it's a little green arrow that looks like it's in a circle on the right-hand side of my page. If I click on that, I now see any updates that I've made on my online account. And in this case, ta-da, I now have a group library section on the left-hand navigation menu. And I have my example group. And there's currently nothing in it because I haven't put anything in there. So I can go ahead and move any of my articles that I've already found, just drag and drop them into my group and they will copy over. I'm not going to lose them from my library. They'll just copy. I can also go ahead and save some more articles directly into this group by making sure that I have clicked here on example group when I go save an article. Let's do this quickly. This one we haven't seen yet. If I go ahead and click on this article, it says it's not saving to my library anymore. It's saving to example group. So I am saving this reference directly into that group. All right. If there are any questions about groups, feel free to put those in the chat. Again, I'm going to move on, going quickly here in the interest of time. So you have saved all of these articles for your research. And let's say now it is time for you to add some citations to a document. You have two options for citing with Zotero. You can
Hey, Kathryn, we have a question that you might be able to answer quickly.
Notes and highlighting. I will actually get to that one when we talk about highlighting later on. It's a great question. Okay. So I have two options for saving or citing with Word. I can speak. two options when it comes to citing with Zotero. The first one is that I can be working in Microsoft Word, and my second option is that I can be working in Google Docs. The nice thing is that these function very similarly to each other. So let's start off here with Zotero, or sorry, with Word. I'll, be typing along, and it's time to add a citation. First of all, I can click here on Document Preferences, and this will allow me to set the citation style. Zotero comes with a number of automatically sort of preset citation styles, and it also, you can add any of them with just a couple of clicks. I can get to that if you're interested. IEEE is one of our options. Let's go ahead and cite with that. So I'll just say OK, and I will set that as my document preferences. Now I can go ahead and click Add/Edit Citation here. And I don't think I mentioned it, but I am currently on the Zotero bar of Microsoft Word. This bar gets added when you download your Zotero program to your computer. If you don't see it, go ahead and close all of your Word documents and then reopen up any that you're currently working on. That will allow Word to refresh and take in that new tab. I'll click here on Add/Edit Citation. And this is the challenge about working with Zotero on multiple screens. It moves to a new screen, but there is a little red bar that will appear where I can start typing. I can, start typing an author name. I can start typing a topic or a title of an article. I can go ahead and click on whatever it is that is of interest that I want to cite, and I'll go ahead and click Enter. And now I see I have a little 1 right there. I can go ahead and, add another thing. Let's add another citation. We'll do this one right here. Now I have a little 2. And let's go back and cite what we already cited. This one, let's do that again. Now I have another little 2 because that is the same one as our previous citation. And now with a click, I can choose Add/Edit Bibliography. And ta-da, I have a little draft bibliography in IEEE format right there. One thing I do want to mention is that this is in this is Zotero linked text. So if I were to try to edit this text at all, like let's say I discovered an error in there, because as we talked about, this is a draft bibliography. If I make any changes to that, Zotero will automatically remove those anytime it refreshes. It will say, nope, that was wrong, and it will go ahead and get rid of any changes that I made. So if I need to make any changes, let's say, for example, my title is in capital letters when it shouldn't be. Maybe my title is all in uppercase when it shouldn't be. That was just how it was entered into the database. I need to make any changes actually within the Zotero program. I can go ahead and make any of those changes there. And then those corrections will be reflected within my Word document. All right, I hope that helps. One other thing I want to show you is if we open up a Google document, we have very similar things here. Our Zotero Google document tab gets added when I add my extension for Zotero in Chrome or Safari or whatever I'm using. So if you're opening up a different web browser that doesn't have the Zotero connector here, you won't be able to do this in Google Docs until you go ahead and add that. So again, I have all these same options. I can set my document preferences. I can add a citation. I can add a bibliography, etc. All right. What do we have to talk about next? Oh, one thing I want to discuss is I just want to show you if the citation style that you're using does not appear in the automatic list that comes in with every Zotero program, you can add one of those if you go to zotero.org/styles. So this is the Zotero style repository, and these are Zotero styles that are created by the open source Zotero community. As you can see, there are 10,000 citation styles found. So probably whatever you're using is here in this list. You can search for the name of a citation style, or you can search for the name of a journal that you may be aiming to publish in. And there may be a citation style there for you. You can add any of those citation styles just by clicking. If you hover over it, it will give you like a little preview of what it will look like in a number of different article types. So like there's a website here, there's a blog post, there's a book. So you see a little preview before you have to add anything. And when you're ready to add it, just go ahead and click on it. And it will say, are you sure? Do you want to add the citation style to Zotero? And you say, okay, and it will install that style and you will be ready to use it next time you open up your document preferences within Word or Google Docs. All right, let's move on to our last point for today, which is a brand new functionality within Zotero that I am super excited about. So Zotero updated from Zotero 5 to Zotero 6 earlier this year. I think it was like March. And their big update that they did is that now you can annotate and read PDFs actually inside your Zotero program. And this is my favorite annotation system for PDFs that I have seen in any tool. So I'm excited to share this with you. So I can go ahead and open up one of these documents that we saved. If I click on, that little sideways arrow, it expands it out and shows me all of my attachments. Let's open up this one. So here's the paper. I can just go ahead and read it if I would like to. But I also have these annotation functions that you'll see at the very top, sort of middle of the screen. Our first one is highlighting. And so, you can find a paragraph or a sentence that is of particular use to you and just highlight that text by clicking over it. And in this case, you'll see that your annotations are going to appear here on this left-hand bar. And what you can do, if you click on these annotations, you can actually add comments for that particular section. So, whatever types of comments that you want to write here. You can also, by clicking on these three little dots, you can change colors. So right now, yellow is our standard color, but like we could change this to a red or a purple or a green. So if you happen to be using colors to sort of organize your thoughts, you have those options. So that's highlighting. Another thing that
Kathryn,
yes.
Since you're talking about highlighting, can you answer the question, if you highlight in a group, can group members see it? Great.
Absolutely, yes. So we had a question over chat. Are the owner's notes and highlighting seen by the group members? So if you just copy over, if you go ahead and make any of these changes within your own library and you drag and drop this into a group library, then yes, they will see any highlighting that you've already done. If you continue to work on the document that's in your library and not the one in group library, they won't see those because they're not syncing with each other. You could continue working on the document within the group library, and then everyone would be able to see your notes. There is one limitation to this, and that is, I haven't fully tested this, but Zotero, I don't think this is great for like real-time annotation. If like you're getting together on Zoom with, 5, members of your team to go ahead and like highlight things all together, I don't think that you'll be able to see all of those changes like instantaneously appear in real time unless you're like constantly refreshing your Zotero program. So this might be something that's more useful for group annotation as like homework before a meeting. People put in their own comments and then, you guys can reflect when you're live. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, feel free to put in a clarifying question. All right, looks like I got that one. Great. So our next annotation option is I can just put a little sticky note somewhere on this document. That's this option right here in the center, of top center of my page. If you hover over it, it says add a note. So in this case, I just click somewhere where I want to put a little sticky note, and then I can add a comment and write as much as I want about this particular section of the paper. That is another option for you. Something else that is cool, let's see if there's a good example. Oh yeah, here's one. So let's say that you're making notes about, a figure or an image or something that's a little bit hard to, just describe via text. You can actually select an area, which is this third option right here in the center list of annotations. And what this does is this allows you to basically like take a little snip or a screenshot of this particular section of interest to you. Like, let's do these. So you'll see that whole image now appears in my list of annotations, and I can add comments where I can talk to, myself or my teammates about this image. So I can also, as we mentioned, as far as organization of these notes, I can change colors and sort of organize by color. Because I have a couple of different colors here, you'll see that at the bottom of the screen on my list of annotations, I've got a little yellow square and a little red square. So if I'm organizing, and let's say I've gotten, 200 annotations in this document, if I'm organizing by color, I can click on this little yellow square to just view the yellow notes. And I can click on it again to deselect it. And then, click on the little red square just to view my red notes. So that could be a good organizational option for you if you like to organize by color. Now, if you prefer not to organize by color, or maybe you're colorblind or you have colorblind teammates, you can also organize by tags within these annotations. So we talked about tags already in, the big picture. Yes, I see the time check, Jamie. Thank you. We talked about tags for organizing your whole library. This is just tags that are within your notes within a single document. So, you could add a tag like, I don't know, background info. That's sort of my go-to tag apparently today. And then like tags information will appear here at the bottom, just beside my colors. And I can, again, organize by tags. Let's say I've applied this tag to 15 of my 45 annotations. I can sort those out just by clicking on them, and those will appear here. All right, I hope that helps. One thing I want to point out here, and this is one of the reasons why this is my favorite annotation system, is like, great, you've made all these annotations, you've put all this work into marking up an article. Can we extract these annotations and put them into a document, or maybe even directly into our manuscript draft that we're working on? And the answer is yes. Here's how you can do that. On the right-hand side of your page here, there's currently what is selected in these two options is like a bunch of lines. This is giving you that information, that citation information about this article on the right-hand side here. Switch over to the other option, which looks like a little notepad, and it will tell you about item notes or all notes. We don't have any of either in this case, so I'm going to create an item note based on all of these annotations that we've done. And I'll do that by clicking on this plus symbol and choose Add Item Note from Annotations. And now we have this list of annotations that we've already made here. So the section that we highlighted, it enclosed it in quotation marks, and it added a little citation of the page number. And then here's all of my nonsense notes. The sticky note, again, has a page number and then all of my comments. And this screenshot here is available there, and as well as a in-text citation. Now what I can do is I can open up my Word document, and I can click on this Add Note option, where it will ask me to choose from my list of annotations. In this case, I only have one, so I'll click on that, and ta-da! It has just exported these annotations that we've made, including this screenshot, which I need to resize a little bit, but it's here in my document to refer back to. You can also do exactly the same thing with your Google Docs. All right. I feel like I'm at time, so to leave a couple of minutes for questions, the last thing I want to say is that if you need help, as I mentioned, you'll have all of these screenshots. There's like over 100 of them that you can refer back to for all of the things that I've shown you today. You can contact me. Here's my email address. You'll also find that Zotero's support website has a lot of good instructions. And if you're having some sort of problem, you can search the Zotero discussion board for help. If you're not finding the answer to your question, you could even post on the Zotero discussion board in order to get some support.
And a reminder to everyone, we're going to be sharing the slides out. All right, Kathryn, if you want to look in the chat, there is a question at the very beginning at 12 p.m. about Scrivener and suggestions.